Yay!
Now it's working.
So sorry about that.
No worries.
Into the wrong one. I'm like, what?
How are you?
Yeah, I'm really good. I'm out here in California trying to stay warm. My car was iced over this morning. I couldn't believe it.
Oh, let's see if I had. I'm in Florida right now and enjoying the heat. I think the locals call it winter. But yeah, this. See if I can share. This was my yesterday in Norway. It just came out from.
Wow.
So
wow.
I'm enjoying the heat.
Yeah. I live in Kansas, so your Norway looks very much like my house in Kansas. So I do get to avoid that. So that's nice. Well, I'm excited to learn about Curipod today. If you were to give like just a 1 or 2 sentence elevator pitch, what does Curipod do?
It gets all your students collaborating. So when I talk with teachers, I typically say either feel the buzz of 100% participation, or I also like to just say, get to the feeling where all your students are suddenly looking up from their screen. That's kind of, to me, the core of Curipod. Like, yeah, we're a tech tool, but definitely a tech tool focusing on less screen time.
Okay. Well, I wasn't expecting to hear that. So are you going to be able to show it to us today?
Yes. So I can run you through just kind of my intro to Curipod.
Okay, that would be awesome.
So I think frame of reference, just to kind of give the backstory of how Curipod came to be, is when I introduce myself, I always say I was born with a Hermione reflex. It means my hand does a lot of this. I loved school. I had an amazing time at school, and I was super lucky that I got to go to a school where everyone was geeking out. I had so much fun. After school, I moved to Mozambique, started as a teacher. I got back to Norway. I started uni again. And my first year there, I met Jens. Short spoiler alert, he's my co-founder and the CEO, so we stuck together. And we worked together so closely for 3 years. And at the end of those 3 years, I learned that Jens had originally dropped out of high school, which surprised me. Yeah. And I never known anyone who considered dropping out. And here was Jens, and he was the smartest person I've ever met, and he had dropped out. So it's the first time in my life I kind of reflected on what makes people drop out. And it was also the first time I really understood what happens to the classroom when I raise my hand and do this. It increases the threshold for everyone else to participate. And it's not my fault. It's just how we've set up education, right? It's a teacher asks a question, Eric raises his hand, then you have 5 people who thinks, oh, I don't want to raise my hand because I don't want to be that kind of person. And you have 5 people who thinks, I kind of want to answer, but I know the teacher will pick me first because I don't answer usually, but then she will pick Eric afterwards to kind of round off the question. There is so much happening right there that just makes that kind of like, it's hard to get that sort of participation. Yeah. So that was how we started here. But can we make an instructional tool that really focuses on that? And then the other thing that really influenced us was that almost all instructional tools at the moment focus on either both or at least one student-based solutions.
Yes.
And to me, I understand why. I've been in the classroom, right? It takes away the problem, like it solves the problem of differentiation, which like anyone who spent time in the classroom knows how hard it is. But hard. It's so hard, right? You have 30 learners and they're on different levels, but it also, the second we solve that problem with student-based solutions, we're taking away collaboration from the classroom.
So true. I'm so happy to hear you say that.
Yeah, that's kind of my core. Like if I have one mission, that's kind of my mission, right? It's kind of how can we solve for differentiation, but still make sure every student works on the same problem so they can really, really work together. So with that being said, I'll take you into Curipod. And
I'm excited.
Let's see.
Do you need help sharing your screen?
It seems like this is working fine. Nice. Can you see my screen now?
Perfect.
Okay, so I'm inside Curipod, and for people who are new,
since we're just early on here in the session, how much does Curipod cost?
So we have a free version who's free for everyone, and then we have a school and district plan. Okay. Everything I'm going to show now is either going to be on the free plan, or I'm going to be very diligent and tell you if it's on the school plan.
Okay. All right. Great.
So you log into Curipod, and if you want kind of the umbrella understanding of where we exist, think about Curipod as a instructional tool or formative assessment tool in the family of Nearpod, Peer Deck. Quizzes is moving more in that direction as well.
Okay.
We're definitely using AI, but we're not the tool you buy if you're thinking like, we just need some AI. Like, then there are amazing tools out there as well. If you just want to expose your teachers and students to AI, we are the tool you buy if you want higher engagement, if you want students collaborating. So let me take you through kind of a short demo. So the easiest way to get started in Curipod is to click Get Lesson.
Okay.
And when you click Get Lesson, you get some alternatives. I'm going to take you through the easiest one to get started with, which is Generate a Lesson.
Okay.
When I click Generate the Lesson, I can select which subject I'm teaching. So let's say I'm doing ELA. And let's say I want to do novel studies. I want to focus on the outsiders. That was a good suggestion. And we want to focus on main ideas.
All right.
Then Curipod has created a prompt for you. I can, of course, add to this. I want some activities where the students share their own opinion. So this is just us kind of creating a default prompt for you here. I can also align it to any standards by clicking here and selecting my states. We have all state standards in here.
Awesome.
Select a grade level, and then I'll click Get Lesson. And now Curipod is starting to build your lesson.
Okay.
So then we're waiting for the AI to do its magic, see what it's creating here. Sorry for the.
How easy this is.
Well, yeah, that's the core idea of it. Yeah, sorry for the background.
They don't do this on the fly with their students, or do they?
Good question. So I think most people, the first time they use Curipod, they kind of just made it just before they went in, and they're like, oh, this worked really well. And then they're starting using it all the time. So now it created a lesson here, and you see the lessons is in the format of a slide deck, and you can see down here whether it's an activity or if it says slides, it's just a content slide. And it basically fills it out quite neatly here. But you can of course add more to this if you want to. And then when you're ready to use it, you click Start Now. Instead of clicking Start Now, I will click Preview, just because in the preview, I get the opportunity to show you both the teacher screen and a student screen.
Oh, okay.
But basically, by clicking Start Now, it will just get you to this teacher screen. Okay. So the teacher click starts, and all the students join in with a pin code from Curie.live. As you're familiar from like Kahoot or most others.
Should I try and join?
Yes, you can join in here, actually.
Okay, so I've scanned the QR code. It's got the PIN number automatically. Put down I like how it asks for my real name.
As you see, we give all students a random nickname. So the teacher can access everyone's real name, but the students only see each other random nickname. Oh. It's one of those things we do just to kind of just lower the threshold of participation. And now, when I click Start, we get to start teaching this lesson. And every time we get to an activity, we get to answer it. So let's try 2 activities here. So what you already know about main ideas in the outsider. So I'll start this, and we can both write an answer here.
All right, I'm gonna write an answer. It says an in. Okay, what do I already know about the main idea? Where are you writing the, okay. Oh, there it is. All right.
And I'm just writing a few example answers. Okay, and when this activity ends, this is an open question activity, and this has a voting element. So when we're finished, all the students get to vote for the answer they agree most with.
Oh, okay. So there might be 30 of them on here, though.
Yes, and that's why. So how we've done it is they're randomly paired, so that like it works if you're 500 students in a university class. It still works by basically just randomly pairing and giving different combinations to every student. So I finish it up here, and basically what happens is that at the end you get all the results here. But what's like, okay, so to stop a little bit with the voting, I can show other types of activities afterwards, but there are a few things that really works with this voting. So first, it tricks all the students to basically do some sort of peer review. They all read through each other's answers, so they get exposed to what other students think, which really starts some great conversations afterwards.
For sure.
The other thing is that 7 out of 10 times, the top answer is usually a quiet kid. And that really, like, I just visited a school in east of Dallas, Texas. And it was just the most amazing experience I've had, because I run a PD for the science team. And 1 hour later, one of the science teachers came crying back in tears. And she was so happy because she had run the Curipod lesson. She had made a lesson on Newton's first law, but with Newton's 3 laws of motion with Christmas theme. Okay. And it made a drawing brain break, which was like, draw how Newton's laws of motion influence Santa when he flies, which is like a fun brain break for the kids. But she said, like, the kid, she had never got this kid to talk, and her drawing was voted to the top. And suddenly she started sharing, and it was the first time she kind of spoke out loud in the classroom. And that's, to me, kind of the core. All activities we build, we try to build them in a way that so they give kids the confidence to start talking to each other in the classroom. So moving on from this activities, we have some fact slides, and we have a poll activity. We don't need to run through them all here, but then we, for instance, have this. Here, write a short paragraph on how you relate to the character or situation in The Outsider. What personal connections can you make? So I'll start this activity here, and we don't need to write the full script here. So I relate, or I don't relate as I did not read it. I'm just
I do read it. It's been a long time
since. But the AI feedback activities, instead of voting, the teacher can press give feedback, and in a second, students can get feedback on their writing.
Oh, yeah. So I'd put down that I like to drive. I just seem to remember there being a car. I'm not sure if that was true or not. So the feedback I got was, great start. It's cool to connect personal interests to what you're learning. Here's how you can improve. Think about a character in The Outsiders who likes driving or has a related experience. Explain why driving is important to them and how it connects to their story, and add details from the book to make your paragraph more specific and meaningful. Oh, there it is.
I love this example. And this is kind of, I think this example is kind of core on how we try to build our writing feedback, because you have managed to write something, like you have managed to express an opinion. Yeah. And that shouldn't be discouraged, right? Of course, it's like, from an ELA teacher perspective, it's not the best answer I've seen, but you've expressed an opinion, right? And what Curipod now is just trying to give you is, okay, this is a good opinion. Like, how can we make this a great answer? Okay, first, just find one specific character who likes to drive, and then explain why driving is an important theme, and then add some details, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is a good preview of just like the activities in Curipod. I mean, there are so many activities here. There is drawing activities with AI feedback. But essentially, like, this sums up what Curipod does for you as a teacher. It first helps you build your lesson, and then it helps you deliver that lesson in an extremely engaging way. And I typically, what I hear and see from teachers all the time is that they come for the AI. That's what teachers have heard about. They've heard about either oh, you can create the lessons with AI or you have AI feedback, they stay for the engagement, right? Mm-hmm. That's at the core what it's all about, getting the students to participate in the classroom. And then, of course, there are other features here as well. I think one feature that people tend to really love is when you've built a lesson in Curipod, if you have EL students in your class, you can just go down here, translate, and then translate it to any language you want.
Oh. And do the students see it in a particular language, or is everybody seeing it in that language?
It depends how, like what most teachers do is that they just download the translated version and put it in their LMS because they want to be teaching and they kind of don't want the students, they want the students' main attention still to be on the English slides, but they want them to have the opportunity to glance at some translated slides as well.
All
right. Showing you, going back to the home page and kind of the get lesson, what we checked out now was the generate a lesson.
Mm-hmm.
Another really easy to get started feature here is to Curify my slides. If you click Curify my slides, instead of just writing a prompt, what you can do is you can upload any lesson you've already made. So any slide that you have as PowerPoint, PDF, Google Drive, you can upload it.
Okay.
And then you can click Get Lesson. Now, instead of making your full lesson, what Curipod does now is that it reads all of your slide decks and it makes Curipod activities to go with them. So let's see what it creates here.
I'm excited.
Yeah, me too, because I never know what it's going to create. I think the lesson I uploaded was a lesson on the Stone Age. Let's see here.
It's coming.
Oh, it's always coming. It always knows when I'm showing it to other people, so it knows when to take its time.
Yeah. Without a doubt, I'm trying to show somebody something that's when it's...
Okay, here it is. So this, of course, this is a lesson from the slide I uploaded.
Okay.
And then Curipod created a bell ringer activity for this. Just share what you already know about Stone Age.
Okay.
And then it kept one of the slides. And it created a poll question. It kept some slides. It created an AI whiteboard question. And then it created a brain break because kids need brain breaks.
Okay.
So basically, this is just another way of getting started to build your Curipod lesson. It's the same tool, right? It's just a different way to approach it. Instead of going in with generate a lesson, you just tell what you want to teach and Curipod builds it. And
right.
This one, you just show Curipod what you already have and Curipod makes activities for you.
And they're editable.
Yes. Everything can be edited. Then the other categories you see here is, I can show you this. So prepare for testing. Here, there is a mix of free plan and school plan things. But you can see here that we have test preps for so many states. So
many.
Texas, we have STAR and TELPAS. We have the WIDA test, which is one of the most used EL tests throughout STARS. You're in California right now. We have the CASP here. But all of this is using AI, like the same AI feedback feature I just showed you. It's using to give feedback with the rubrics of that text.
Okay.
So it's a great way to do test prep at scale.
That's part of the free.
So we typically, you can see there are free and paid test preps.
Okay.
So you go to STAR, for instance, if it's that little crown, it's on school plan, but there are these here that aren't like, this is on the free plan, this is on the free plan. Yeah. But a great way of starting to use Curipod. And then the last thing I wanted to show you in here is the writing skills series. So here we have a series of 5-minute writing practices. They're all free. And then we have longer practices for argumentative informational narrative writing, which is similar to the test prep. Some are on the free plan, some are on the school plan.
Right.
And I can show you, for instance, one of these. Let's take a look. Let's find fun 5-minute writing practice to do here. We've launched so many new ones that
there's a lot in there.
Yeah, I want to see if I can find. Let's do this one, winter migration, right now.
Okay.
So I'll click get lesson and I'll select grade level. This adjusts the Lexi level both on the lesson and the feedback.
Okay.
And now it's building it here. Okay, so instead of going through it, I'll just go straight into starting it. And okay, so I can start this lesson and argument with evidence, winter migration. So all of these right now practices one writing skill. So this is using arguments with evidence. And so we have a text here. Imagine your school is going virtual in January and your family gets to spend the month in a different US city. After collecting average temperature, precipitation, and sunlight for 6 cities, you know where you want to go and where you don't. Write an argument for the city you want to visit. Use data from the chart to support your answer. So when I start this, I can start writing here. I can start, let's add a few mistakes as well. I want to visit Chicago. I always wanted to see the city and the average, and it has sun for 8 hours per day. So I can submit this one. And now I can click give feedback.
Okay, so I was in the middle of answering. It didn't exclude me from answering. It just grabbed my answer.
Yes. So if teacher ended early, it still keeps everything. And I already checked the chart again, so I did not read the chart correctly. And again, since I finished you off early here, it says remember to use data from the chart, right? Because there is no data from the chart in what you wrote. So again, like these are different ways of doing it. But if you go to get lesson, building writing skills, there's like so many great right now activities.
Awesome.
Great. Okay, so let's take a pause there. I think that's kind of a good general introduction to Curipod.
Yeah, no, it was a great introduction. I like how it's ready to start using right away. I like it has a prompt builder, so I don't have to, what prompt do I want to do?
Yeah.
I love that it allows all the students to have a voice, which is one of my big proponents for using technologies. Is I actually code like my Google Slides to allow everybody to respond to a Google form and it goes in there. But obviously that's not easy to set up and it doesn't have
and
a variety of styles to it. It's just a simple question. So
yeah, and I think to me it's kind of we talked about kind of the student pace versus like I like to call it, like I know that the default word so far has been teacher paced. I really love the word classroom paced, right? Because it's not the teacher that paces Curipod, right? The teacher starts the activity, but it's really the classroom as a whole that keeps the pace here. And I think this is so important because, like, don't misunderstand me, I love AI, right? Like it's been a core part of my own product. I use it for so many things myself, but I think it has also supercharged what I think is a scary direction for education to go, which is then kind of the student-paced solutions, which the student-paced solutions are great for what they're like when IXL was introduced, it was amazing, right? Because it was an intervention tool, right? And as a 1 hour a week intervention tool, IXL is amazing. Is it great for like 8 hours a day practice? I have my strong opinions on that.
I have strong opinions as well.
Yeah, and I think we've moved so much towards like, and I see like AI chatbots. That there are great opportunities for it, right? But it's a huge problem if that's where education is leading. If it's like students, every student learning on their own, because the real problem that happens when students learn on their own pace, which is there are amazing things with that as well. But the problem is they don't work on the same activities. So what should they talk about? Right? That's to me the core problem. So at Curipod, we try to be a very strong advocate for solving differentiation, not by necessarily having all the students work on different stuff, but rather differentiating. How do we give them feedback? How do we bring them on? Like, that's to me what this is all about.
Oh, yeah, I agree with that, and I've always been a big proponent of that too. Is that technology shouldn't just be personalized learning is not self-paced, like everyone just doing it at their own pace. We come to school to be together, and it should be about that conversations and that you're able to take the lesson in a different direction fluidly, which is really difficult to do when you're locked into something that's already pre-built. So it's nice that it really drives around student conversations. I like the voting element to it. Is the 8 mathematical practices built into Curipod by any chance?
Good question. So when someone asks me like that, I typically say, I think Curipod can be your core tool if you're teaching ELA, science, social studies, and electives. For math, it works amazingly for some parts, and you should not use it for all parts. So what does it work really well for in math? So it works really well for kind of activating knowledge, like basically getting the students to try to share what they know. It works amazing for literacy within math, both when it comes to like some of the best use cases I've seen has been, I met a teacher in Texas who used the open question activity we just did with voting. She gave an equation, and then all the students were supposed to write a word problem to go with the equation. Okay. Right? Focuses on like your skills at kind of understanding math at a deeper level, and also just explaining it, right? Actually having to put words on math. So everything like that, it's amazing for. When it comes to practicing and learning how to learning how to do an equation, yes, you can use it. I think there are better tools out there. I think that's kind of the trade-off with math, is that math also needs some really specialized tools, because the didactics behind math is so different from like you need graph tools, you need amazing there are some challenges there, and I think I would like at some point Curipod to be that tool for math, but I think it's a long way until it's your core math tool.
Yeah, I'm a math teacher, so I got.
Yeah, no, it's and I think it's important to acknowledging what it's good and what it's not the best at, right? I think there are
great for everything, and yes. This is your full classroom solution. Is a solution for these interactive elements of helping drive some conversation. Does the results export to a spreadsheet by any chance?
Yes, they do. So, but they do more than that, actually. Let me go in and share. So if we go to our report page, what do we have here? Okay, so here I have a report page, and yes, you can share it in two different ways. You can download this as a spreadsheet, or you can copy the link and kind of get it as a URL. But what's really cool with Curipod is...
I'm not seeing, I'm sorry, where did you... It's still just on the lesson page. Are you showing something else?
Oh, maybe I'm... Let me see. Here we are.
There we go. Okay.
Great. So you can click share and download it as a spreadsheet.
Okay.
But what's really cool is, like, as with other report pages, you can like look what the students wrote, look through the different activities. But the real value is that you can click generate insights. And what you do then is you tell Curipod what the lesson objective was, or the learning objective. And then Curipod summarizes what was the most common understandings and misconceptions.
Oh, that's nice.
And this really takes away, like, why do we do exit tickets, right? It's because we don't have time to review everything the students did within the lesson. So we want to kind of get the summary, like, what did they take away from this lesson? This takes away that need. You can also go and analyze it on a student-specific level.
Okay.
So you can see kind of generate, grow, and glow comments for each student.
All right.
And yeah, there's more to be built here. But yeah, this way of kind of driving insights into your next lessons, it's been super powerful.
Oh, well, that's awesome. Well, thanks for sharing this with me. I love how simple it is. And so they just go to curipod.com, right?
Curipod.com.
Okay. And then you have a community. Where do people connect to?
Great question. So we're active on almost all social media platforms. We have a Facebook group. You'll find us all there. And then, now you're actually touching on equally important to share. So I recommend finding us on social media, but I also encourage every educator to just know that we have a chat button down here. And that's the only place in Curipod you don't find any AI. So you just click on the chat button and send us a message, and we're open all US business hour. And what's so cool about this chat is that it's the real team that's there. So it's not some outsourced customer support. It's everyone in Curipod takes 4-hour shifts every week manning it. So you can come to me as a founder. You can come to, let's see who's in here now. Rachel, she is designing so much of our curriculum. Lexi, she's head of our US operations. There is the great thing about this is that you come to the people who build it. So the feedback loop is short. But what I also encourage people to do is you don't need to wait until you find a problem to write it there. You can just write the first time you log in, hey, I'm a new science teacher. I'm trying to find a way to use Curipod. Do you have any ideas for me? We would be happy to help out.
Oh, that's amazing. I love that because I would expect it to be a bot.
Yes, no bots there. And it's the best part of the day when you man that chat.
So we have Scott's made a comment. He said, it was a great demo. As a former social studies teacher in middle school and high school, I see this as a tremendous tool for social studies classes, especially in putting together strong evidence for debates. Oh, Scott, you're like warming my heart there. I love evidence or understanding different historical perspectives like George Washington and George III. Yeah, thanks for that, Scott.
I think that's such a strong, such a strong use case for it. And again, it's about getting the students to voice their opinion. I think we're very influenced by as some people might hear in my accent, I'm not from the US, right? I'm from Norway. And we are heavily influenced by the educational system of Norway as well, even though we're building from the US education system. And I think what the biggest difference between the Norwegian and the US education system is that we have a different form of testing, which means we can test for other types of skills, which means that discussion, critical thinking, they're even more kind of tested for in Norway. And I think most education systems are moving that way. And we want to be the best tool for that basically that future of 21st century skills thinking.
Oh, that's great. So you're adding more features. This is where we're at right now, but it sounds to me like you've got some other ideas on the horizon.
There are so many ideas there. I think the coolest up and coming features right now is we're updating for everyone out there who's using Curipod for reading and writing. We're upgrading the paragraph reading tools in Curipod, which will make it a lot easier for Curipod or students to work with texts in Curipod.
Okay, that's awesome. Now I found Lexi. She's on Blue Sky, and Rachel is on there. Are you on Blue Sky?
I'm on my process of setting. Oh, I'm going to set it up this week. I think it's on my list. It's on my to-do list.
I wanted to tag Curipod, and I'm big into Blue Sky. So, but there's no Curipod account official. So I'm just gonna
I think it's on the to-do list for this week probably. Okay. So we'll make sure to send it to you. It's the hard trade-offs of the game. There's so much to do, but
there's so many. It's hard to get on all the platforms. I hear you.
It's Yeah, I didn't have, I had Facebook maybe before I started Curipod, but now I need to have them all. But and I'm loving it. Like, I have to say, it's the best part of my day to scroll social media and just see what teachers are writing, see them sharing stories from their classroom.
I love that too.
Yeah, it's the best part.
Well, awesome. Well, thank you for sharing. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for having me.
Don't get eaten by an alligator.
Yes, I actually got that advice. Like, I was trying to suggest to one of my American colleagues that I will take a run. I wake up early when I'm just came over from Norway, so I typically start my day at like 3-4.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, and then I was like going for a run, and I was like, yeah, it's dark. You kind of don't want to run through that, like by that lake in the evening. Yeah, I think she had a good point. So yeah, I'll stay safe from alligators.
That's a good idea. I was just in Florida, Miami recently, and went out to the Everglades, and there was definitely alligators close enough that I was, though there's a kind of a fence, but not a real one. So they're there.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I hope you have a great evening.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Bye.